This week's episode is sponsored by the Breakthrough to Excellence book. This book will help guide the reader through overcoming self-doubt and fear and acquiring professional prosperity. In this book, it takes a deep dive with research, science, and real-life stories of women who courageously push past the fear to conquer their goals. You can find out more at www.breakthroughtoexcellence.com. Welcome to the Breakthrough to Excellence podcast. I'm Jasmin Haley, healthcare provider turned educator, entrepreneur, and startup strategist. Not too long ago, I was burnt out, overwhelmed, depressed, and full of fear from a toxic work environment. I created my business out of necessity to create a legacy I can be proud of today. It helps me transform the lives of women every single day to pursue their dreams and entrepreneurial goals. I created this podcast to share the empowering stories of entrepreneurial women, help you break through self-doubt to your greatness, and share business strategies to help you create a thriving and profitable business. If you are an emerging entrepreneur or business owner that wants to create the mindset needed to escape burnout, reclaim your personal power, and pursue your entrepreneurial dreams, this podcast is for you. Stay tuned and listen in. Hello. Welcome to the Breakthrough to Excellence podcast. I am your host, Jasmin Haley, and today's episode is going to be one of my live trainings where I speak about the power of public speaking. You know, a lot of times when people think about public speaking, they're thinking that they have to actually stand up on a stage with a microphone, but there are many ways in which we're public speaking. Getting on a podcast is a form of public speaking. Going on social media and using video form or some form of audio where you're sharing your voice is a form of public speaking. But there's something really powerful when you decide to put aside your ego, you decide to put aside your fears, and you get up in front of people and you share your story, you share your message. And I came to the realization just a few weeks ago that this is what I need to be doing more of. I need to be empowering more people to share their voice in the form of public speaking by sharing their expertise, creating a signature keynote course or workshop, and getting out there and transforming lives. So I am so very excited, one, for you to understand the power of amplifying your brand through speaking, but number two, the fact that I am now going to debut my group course. Now, let me tell you, y'all, I am scared excited. In fact, I've had coaching and consulting clients who have come in and they'll squeeze in speaking into their consulting program when I technically am not providing that. So I've been coaching and consulting people and growing their business, and I love to focus on the organic marketing piece. And oftentimes my recommendation to many is for them to get into speaking. That's how I built my brand. That's how I built my first business. And so it just had a big, the best way to explain this is I just had a big epiphany one Saturday morning stating to myself, I'm no longer going to allow fear to not let me move forward with this. I was scared. I felt like I needed one more certification program, one more program to take. And I was really minimizing all that I've accomplished in my own speaking career for professionally for the last 5 years and what I've been able to get from my clients. My clients have been getting 5-figure contracts. They have been completing their first keynote and securing more work after that. They are securing their very first national gigs. They're taking their expertise. They had no idea how to take their expertise and actually create a framework for a presentation on stage that could lead to more opportunities in their own business. I have been doing that behind the scenes, very humbly, very quietly, and I am not going to do that anymore. So my program is called the Legacy Scaler Heart-Driven Speaker Program. It is going to be straight fire. Okay. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I'm going to be snatching some edges up in there, and I'm going to be totally focused on helping you get out of your own way and getting to a place where you can tell your story, you can share your message and your expertise on the stage, but most importantly, you can reach the hearts of your audience and be able to transform them. Y'all, I'm still getting speaking gigs, and I am not in a position where I am constantly going out and applying. I don't have time for that, honestly. I do apply from here and there, especially now as I am rebranding and moving myself outside of the dental industry. But for the most part, I am doing all of my moving and shaking on the stages from word of mouth, from people that have heard me speak. And recently I secured an amazing opportunity with Colgate, and I'm super excited for that. So this is what I do. This is what I love to do. So without further ado, listen to this training. And if you know that you've been kind of sitting on the fence, you're a coach, consultant, or a speaker right now, and you want to get out there and you want to refine your message, you want to get out there and you want to create a framework for your message, you want to get that fine tuned, understand presentation and delivery strategies, and also to get to a place where you are refining the business side of speaking so that this can be a viable option for you as you are scaling and growing your business. I am that chick. I am your girl. Reach out to me. You can DM me on Instagram at It's Jasmin Haley, or simply email my team at hello@beyondtheprophy.com. It's probably easier for you to message me on Instagram. Whichever way you find me, I will be there. All right. So thank you so much for taking the time to listen and review my podcast and come in week in and week out. I am so honored to have each of you, and I hope you enjoy this training. Hey, 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 this is Jasmin Haley, your host of the Breakthrough to Excellence podcast. And today's topic is how to amplify your brand through speaking. I'm really looking forward to doing this training and talking to you about this valuable topic. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for speaking and for finding my voice and being willing to share my story. There are a lot of creatives and service-based entrepreneurs out there in the world who make an incredible impact on the people that they serve every single day. But there is a way for you to amplify your brand bigger than anything you could have imagined just by standing on the stage and building your legacy on the stage. So I'm going to share some of the things that I've learned along my own journey, what I've seen even with my own clients when it comes to amplifying your brand through speaking. I hope that during this conversation today, it will inspire you to take action, to get to a place that nothing or no one will stop you from actually going out there and doing more to share your own story and what has impacted you. I do want you all to know that I am starting a new 3-month program for speakers specifically. I woke up on a Saturday morning and I knew that what I was kind of holding back from was saying, hey, I can specifically help speakers. And so I am starting a program. It's called the Legacy Scaler Heart Driven Speaker Program, specifically for speakers who want to get their voice out there, but also build this as a reliable source of income in their business. And it has been one for mine. And I hope that by sharing this program, it could help you amplify your business. So if you are interested in signing up for the wait list to find out about this program and to find out the details of this program, feel free and DM me on Instagram at It's Jasmin Haley and DM me the word speaker. I will send you the link for the wait list, or you can click the link in my bio so that you can find out more information once I release that program. All right. So I'm biased, but everyone has a story to tell. Every single person on this planet has one. I have a plaque that actually sits by my office desk, and it was given to me by my dear friend Dorothy, who is an amazing speaker herself, who has done such amazing work internationally to help people in need. And what it states is, it says, share your story to set someone else free. She gave that to me because even in my choice to amplify my brand through speaking, there are periods of time that I have felt uncertain of whether I should continue to do this. Every single time I go out there and I speak and share, it's a big deal. So I don't want anyone or everyone to ever feel that what they're doing is minimal or it's not that serious. It's a big deal. It's the reason why I don't really re-listen to myself on the stage or in a podcast, because I will scrutinize that thing till no end, right? And so one of the key things that I want you to remember is that every single person on the planet can speak. But here's what we need to remember though. Although we can speak, right? Not every person can transform and reach the hearts of their audience. And that's the part that you really need to hone in and focus on. Because if you really truly want strong brand awareness, you've got to reach the hearts of the people that you're speaking to. So, why should you choose speaking as a way to convey your message? Well, here's the first thing. Number one, it is the most powerful way to organically market yourself. I don't care if you're on IG Live. I don't care if you are hosting a webinar. I don't care if you speak in front of individuals. All of that is public speaking. So if you're kind of shying away from speaking on a virtual platform, that's all a way for you right now to start building and honing your speaking skills. So don't shy away from that, because it is, again, number one, the most powerful way to organically market yourself. You can reach hundreds in one setting. I had a conversation just yesterday with an event planner to speak at a conference of 4,000 people. That's 4,000 potential leads that I can reach in 3 hours of time, right? And so we should never, ever minimize the amplification that comes through any form of public speaking. The more you take the time, just like right now, as I am recording this training and also doing it live in the Clubhouse app, this is all of a way for me to perfect how I speak so I can reach more people, so that when I'm in person, right, I've gotten all the kinks out. So we have to look for ways to not have as a crutch working with people specifically. Some of us get into the thing of feeling like I've got to have somebody else with me in order to start a conversation. And I'm going to encourage you that if you know that you have a calling specifically to share your message and share your story, get comfortable with being the only person there. Get comfortable with that, and get comfortable with sharing your voice in that manner and learning how to perfect how is it that you're speaking to your audience so that you can lead to some sort of transformation. Here's number 2. Speaking can help you build a unique relationship and a trust like no factor because you use the power of your voice. It is so difficult to understand what someone means, what their intention is, without hearing the power of someone's voice. Have you ever sent a email that was misinterpreted by someone? They couldn't figure out what your tone was. Have you ever sent a social media message to someone and you were confused, or you were a recipient of one? Have you ever sent a text message to someone written form and you weren't really entirely sure what their intentions were? When you are able to use the power of your voice, it creates a deeper connection with the person that you're speaking with. So whether I'm on the Clubhouse app, whether I'm showing up live somewhere, whether I'm doing a virtual summit, hosting my own event, or speaking on a stage, that allows me every single time I get people showing up and joining my email list and saying, hey, I want more. I want to learn more about the work that you do, because the power of the voice allows you to have a deeper connection and relationship with people that you could potentially have as clients for the work that you do. When I first started my career, when I look back, right, at the very beginning, I had to really think about it. Like, when did I really start speaking? Because, like, sometimes I'll say it's 2012. Sometimes I'll say it's like, some other date. But as I was writing this content out and thinking about like, what is it that I can help my audience appreciate so they can look at their own journey, I want you to really sit and reflect after this discussion today and think about the very first time you did something that was a form of public speaking. And so I've always had it as a child in a religious setting, right? So in a religious setting, I would get up and I would do Bible-based discussions. And that was a great way to start honing those public speaking skills. And then by the time I was in high school, I was actually in a competition for health careers in the state of New York. And guess what, y'all? I entered to do extemporaneous speech. I won third place. I'm like, okay, this was something in my toolbox that was hanging out there. Then fast forward to 2008, I dipped my toe into student teaching in the healthcare setting. And then fast forward to 2012, I taught my first course with dental hygiene students. And I was holding my notes, y'all. I printed off every single slide and I held my notes. And then fast forward to 2015, I hosted, and I didn't host, but I actually taught my first continuing education course. By 2016, I started my business. There was no one that was checking for your girl. There was crickets. And I decided to amplify my brand by following my intuition and self-sponsoring my own events, self-sponsoring my own opportunities to be able to speak, to the point where my brand and what it is that I had to share was undeniable. And from there, I started getting requests for me as a speaker. And in 2020, I got my first 5-figure check for speaking. And in 2021, I'm still here. And a lot of the people who come to me from the speaking world are people that were referred to me by word of mouth. And so I'm going to share 4 pointers for you right now so that you can get started with amplifying your brand through speaking, because there are so many of us that are afraid to go forward with the speaking part. And I'm going to highly encourage you that this is a great way, a great asset to have in your business by going out and sharing your message. The first thing I'm going to tell you, this is the first one. This is not eloquent or anything of that nature. Get over yourself. That's number one. Get over yourself. Because we tend to let our ego get in our way. Like, we don't apply for certain things to share our message because we feel like, well, I'm not really qualified. Listen, y'all, I apply everywhere. I don't care if it's a truckers association, your girl's applying. Okay. I've got a message to share, whether it's about creating a legacy, starting a business, or the healthcare field. I've got something to share for everybody. Okay. And what happens? You can deny me and I'm going to keep it moving. I recently applied to a technology conference, and I was told that this is not a subject that we typically have, but we are very interested to know more about the work that you do. We would love to have you a part of our organizational event. Y'all, nothing they were looking for was what I spoke on, but I applied anyway because I am so sure of the message that I have to share and how it can help transform other people's lives that I don't care what they have up there. I'm going to do what I got to do, right? So the first one is get over yourself. Get over yourself. Get over the fear. We're not guaranteed another day of life. If you have a message to share, if you've had this pull and tug coming into your life some way, somehow, apply. Do what you need to do. Get out there. Share your message. Self-sponsor if you have to. Okay. Number 2, realize that you are enough. There are things in your toolbox you can use right now to start amplifying your brand through speaking. So if I had decided to wait in 2016 for someone to say, hey, Jasmin, here's the opportunity for you to speak, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. There's no way. So when I first started, I realized when I sent that first email and it was crickets and no one responded back to me except for one person, it was over 50 people that I pitched my speaking topic and I heard nothing. I said, well, here's my choice: sit and wait or decide to do something about it. So when you realize that you are enough, even though we are all imperfect, right? We all have our things that we're working and evolving to do. When you realize you're enough, when you realize that For me personally, I know that God will always protect me. He will always be there for me. I will have exactly what it is that I need. He's blessed me with the gifts that I've been given. You walk differently into rooms. You show up differently into spaces when you're speaking. When you really truly have a firmly rooted, grounded faith in that. And so that was a big part for me. And that is a part that I often see missing in a lot of people who want to amplify their brand with speaking. Number 3, the most important thing I think too that we forget is that growing your brand through speaking is relational. It is not transactional. Yes, when you go up there and you're speaking on the stage, can you potentially find additional clients with the work that you're doing and make additional money in your business? Absolutely. However, some of us forget how important it is to create relationships. So the relationships led me to corporate sponsorship. I just finished my very first course sponsored by Colgate. I was so excited to have that opportunity. I had always wanted to speak for Colgate. In that instance, I was just like, wow, how did this come about? It came about with a relationship. Someone heard me speak last year for a virtual conference. They wanted to have a coffee chat with me. I sat and I spoke with them. We talked about our life in general. I had no idea that this person was going to put me in contact with the international team at Colgate, which led to my sponsorship and further speaking opportunities for me that are paid. So again, when you look at speaking, speaking is relational and it's not transactional. Although there can be transactions that take place that can amplify your brand, to get you in front of leads, that can lead you to further contracts along the way. The biggest part of speaking that people forget is about the relationships. So I've seen some speakers go into situations where they're out there speaking, they're out there sharing their message, and they forget about the relational part. So when you meet them, they were fantastic speakers, but when you met them in person, their temperament, the way they spoke to you was negative and just the energy was off. So I even knew when I was at a part of planning my own events or even planning events for the nonprofit association that I was a part of prior to my speaking career, it all was based on their energy. How was this person? How did they interact with the people that was there? How were they interacting with me prior to me booking them for that particular event? So never forget the power of your network and the relationships that you're building along the way as you're building your brand through speaking, which can lead to further business in your business for years to come. Just this week, again, as I mentioned, I was talking to an organization about speaking, and they were introduced to my brand 2 years ago. 2 years ago. So never forget that powerful tip for you. All right, here's the last one. This is the last tip that I'm going to share for you today. Number 4, you will always be your biggest cheerleader. So don't wait for permission. Do it now. Again, as I've stated before, when it comes to amplifying your brand through speaking, no one is going to cheer for you as loud as yourself and besides your family members, right? And those that love you. So if you know that the content that you're going to be sharing is going to motivate the audience, the content that you're sharing is going to change the lives of the audience that you're working with, the content that you're sharing is going to reach their heart and potentially change the lives of people that are in their own lives, then what are you waiting for? Why are you asking permission from someone else, right? Why are you allowing other people to dictate whether or not you should share your story from the stage? So the most important thing I want you to remember is that amplifying your brand through speaking is an amazing opportunity. It is the most powerful way for you to organically market yourself and reach hundreds in one setting. But oftentimes, the biggest culprit that prevents us from amplifying our brand through speaking is ourselves. So I hope that this chat today will help encourage you to understand that we may not always have all of the pieces for the how. We may not know all that it takes in order to get there, but there are people just like me, just like you, who went out there, follow our intuition, follow where God was leading us so that we can go out there and share our story. And I hope that by listening to my own story and listening to the tips that I shared here, it will help empower you to understand that this is a great way for you to continue to impact the lives that you see every single day so that you can continue to scale your business and establish your legacy. Thanks for tuning into the show. Dive in deeper by visiting the show notes for this episode or listening to more episodes on jasminhaley.com. If you found value in the show, share with a friend or leave us a review. I'll see you next time.